Explosive foreclosures. Wow, this is really getting out of hand. As we're going to start to see the inventory climb as these pre-foreclosures turn into foreclosures. And as keys go back to the bank, we see some REOs as well. This can be single family, multifamily. It's already happening in commercial, obviously. In a moment, I'm going to have you check out a video clip of a longer video by Travis, Real Estate Mindset. It's definitely something you're going to want to see. He's going to talk about specific cities with 50% explosive growth in foreclosures. It's different in every city. It's concentrated in every neighborhood, of course, different neighborhoods. But once you see what is on the horizon, you can prepare. There's a meeting place where these deals can be bought and sold. You're going to want to know that. And I'll discuss that after the video. So tune in, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
State is more than one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause to achieve the universal aspirations of mankind: peace and security, freedom, and the rule of law.
33% of recent homeowners are currently underwater on their mortgage in certain parts of the country as negative equity spreads across the nation, which is causing foreclosure stats to explode in the process. And not only are we going to go over the most recent foreclosure and negative equity stats, but we're also going to listen to George Bush Jr., Barack Obama, and Ben Bernanke give speeches during the global financial crisis. Because the more important thing that you guys learn in today's video is understanding that what's happening today is a direct result of decades of the Federal Reserve and the US government kicking the can down the road, not boomers trying to abolish property taxes. And equally important is our discussion on whether or not in 2008 was that the start of what we're calling hyper-systemic fraud. And having said that, welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. You guys already know that this video is going to be absolutely bonkers. What you're looking at is Black Knight's most recent foreclosure stats, and this is going up to September 30th of 2025. Now, this is 2 years worth of data, as you guys see indicated on the upper left, highlighted in yellow. This goes back to September 30th of 2023. So the columns essentially have 2 years worth of data. Now, the first thing I want to point out is there's 4 columns on here that have historic highs, at least going back for 2 years. And I also want to pose the question, and I want you guys to think about this as I'm going over this info. What about loan modifications? What impact do loan modifications have on this data? But let's start with the first column. The first thing I want you guys to understand, Melody Wright and I point this out all the time, is Black Knight isn't looking at all of the mortgages. They're looking at about 54.8 million different mortgages, of which 1.05 million are currently 30 days late on their mortgage. Once you have a mortgage late payment on your credit, it brings your credit down for a substantial period of time. Now, the 60-day late mortgages are at 342,000, with 90-day lates sitting at 477,000. The first highest stat is the amount of foreclosures, sitting at 222,000 foreclosures. Again, I have a black arrow there going up that column. This is the highest foreclosure count going back once again to September 30th of 2023. Now, the total non-current homeowners and mortgage holders that they're tracking is sitting at 2.09 million households that are behind on their mortgage. Not good. Now, another historic high, again, going back 2 years. When I say historic high, I mean going back 2 years. We have the highest foreclosure starts and actually a massive jump up, sitting at 41,600. You guys see that right there. Also a new high is foreclosure sales right here, sitting at 7,200. And when we go all the way to the right, we also have the highest foreclosure percentage yearly change. You see that right there, sitting at 16.4%.
If you own NVIDIA, this could be the most important video you will ever watch, because while millions
Looking at the foreclosure rate and annual change in foreclosure rate map, I really want to point out the bottom right of your screen, which is showing you guys the highest year-over-year change in foreclosures, because there are several housing markets, top housing markets, that have over a 50% increase, which is a skyrocketing statistic. Now, number one is actually my home metro area of Houston, Texas, sitting at a year-over-year change of 88%. So foreclosures have gone up 88% year over year in Houston. Just want you guys to understand the trajectory of what's going on. Number two, Colorado Springs, sitting at 76% year over year increase. Denver, Colorado, number three at 73%. Provo, Utah at 68%, and Detroit, Michigan at 68% as well. The first speech we're going to listen to is from George Bush Jr. And as you're listening to this, I want you guys to ask yourself and think about this question, two questions actually. Is what's happening today history repeating itself again? And is this the start of systemic fraud?
First, how did our economy reach this point? Well, most economists agree that the problems we are witnessing today developed over a long period of time. For more than a decade, a massive amount of money flowed into the United States from investors abroad because our country is an attractive and secure place to do business.
Yeah, you really got to ask yourself, is history repeating itself? Obviously, there's some more great videos to watch there. Check out Travis's full video there about what's going on with the housing crisis and the exploding foreclosures, as you can see in the data there. Certain areas, certain concentrated areas are absolutely exploding with foreclosures. We've got quite the housing crisis. You know, when we're in a situation like this, we have a lot of motivated sellers, and the sellers are going to be chasing down the market. It's called a falling knife. And as the sellers get more motivated, they're not necessarily going to know about any real estate clubs. So it's probably going to take friends of theirs and or wholesalers to mention to them or try to get something under contract or let them know they have options because they don't think they do. Those wholesalers will bring that to the first Tuesday of every month, MNREIA, 7 o'clock for the haves and wants section. There'll be some hungry investor buyers there ready to help out. They'll have cash or hard money available, or they'll be willing to take over payments, right? So at the haves and wants, you have contracts or specific properties. They could be single family, they could be duplex, multifamily. Anything's possible right now. And typically there's going to be two main types of ways to buy. One is cash at a big discount, factoring in all the big deferred maintenance. And then the other way is going to be on seller financing terms, where you can get a lot of cash flow and cash on cash return and usually amortize it out over a really long time. And there's usually a balloon payment over a period of time. So check out MNREIA. Check out the website, 7 p.m., first Tuesday of the month, and get yourself a deal or sell yourself a deal.